Okay, so I'm just in a empty new level, and the first thing to do is drag in our building bases, and then make sure it's at 0, 0. It might hang the first time you drag it in, just while it's starting up Houdini Engine in the background. It might take a little while. And then we just select our map. I'm using a much smaller one, so this just runs a bit faster. Just keep things speedy for this. Okay, so you can see that runs pretty quickly. Drag in any OSM data you want. If you've got your own modules that are a different size, you make adjustments here. Change your random floor. Change your seed. This won't do anything though on this one, because none of these are randomly being generated. And then we've got our 2 inputs if we want to use them. Next step, prepare buildings, drag that in. Again, make sure it's at 0, 0. And this does not have our module size set, so we'll do that. And that's something that should actually, in Houdini, be defaulted to. And before I plug anything in, I'm going to set up these tag types, because the way Houdini Engine likes to work is it has to recook it to add these multi-param blocks. And if you've got it plugged in, it'll want to recook the whole thing. So it pays to set the stuff up before you plug in these prepared buildings. And I'm just going to set this up exactly the same as how I have it in here. And I'm actually just going to directly copy these names because I know they're spelled correctly. Put in the weights. And the color doesn't actually seem to work in here. I'm not sure if there's a way to set it up to make it work, but it wasn't a big deal, so I didn't worry about it. But yeah, it doesn't seem to work. Okay, and then scroll down to inputs and select asset input, and then we can select our base buildings. And this will cook. You'll see what it's doing. One's slightly off recording screen, but cool. And then we just hide our base buildings. And there we go. We can see we've got that our base buildings. And then just check in the module placer. Center it. And again, you want to come through and set these up. So if we look at our modules here, so let's say let's chuck a window in. This will let you drag in blueprints, but it won't work that way, because it won't be able to measure them for size, and therefore you'll just have an empty gap. But I'll show you how you can work around that. So let's make another one, and it puts them down in just a big list. So if we add this large in, make its weight a lot less. And now if we come down, asset input, pair buildings. I'm just going to hide it preemptively. And just let it cook. Okay, so you can see it's correctly placed down modules, but they're all the same. So if we want to use these blueprints, if you just scroll down and you can see everything that's actually placed, the individual buildings, and this is where you can come in and apply materials to them. So I've got this panel one, which I want to add. So I'll just do it on one building as an example. So if I can find what building that actually was. So let's find what this building here is. So let's find it down in this list here. It should be 32. So I can see I can find 32 on this list. 42, 30, 32. Nope. Oh, we know that's a tall one, so if I chuck on you can see it's applied materials to that. And if we want to replace one of these with a this is where you would replace it with a blueprint. So if we come in here, and this is the large blueprint. So you can see it just will swap out the instances for the blueprinted one. And you can go through and do that for any buildings you want. If you're replacing a large number of them, it might take quite a while to go through and just calculate it. It'll feel like it's frozen, but I've done this with like hundreds of them, and it will swap them out eventually. Same thing for the windows. If we so you can just swap it out and apply materials and all whatever else you need. Okay, I'm going to switch over and open up a much larger scene that I've already created to show you what you sort of can do. Okay, so this is the full-scale city that we're the same OSM data that we're working with when we're making the actual tool all set up. It does take a little bit if you zoom right out. I don't have the most powerful computer, but so you can see this is kind of what you can set up, and this sort of the scale you can do it to. And this didn't take too long to set up. The thing that took the longest was waiting for it to replace out the base static meshes with the blueprints. But see, I've got 26 different module settings in here, and again, this scene will be included if you want to go through and look at everything I've set up as an example. Yeah, this is kind of what the tool can do. And it's hopefully, as you've noticed through building it, it's pretty flexible. You can go and swap out these modules for any other sort of one you want. You don't have to use OpenStreetMap data. You can make your own buildings. You can do lots of stuff with it and customize it as much as you want. And it'd be really cool to see people make completely different style of like city with it. Maybe with someone who's actually more talented at modeling and texturing than I am. Make some really cool high quality assets. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this. I'll do a sort of conclusion next and sort of recap everything we've learnt, but hopefully you've found this useful and learnt something and enjoyed it.